The world of law is full of landmark cases. These cases shape our understanding of justice and fairness. One such case is Palsgraf versus Long Island Railroad Company. Decided in 1928, this case continues to impact personal injury law today. It centers on a seemingly minor incident that spiraled into unexpected harm, raising profound questions about responsibility and liability. Helen Palsgraf was an ordinary woman who became entangled in an extraordinary legal battle. Her experience at a Long Island Railroad station would forever change her life. The Palsgraf case reminds us that even seemingly small actions can have far-reaching impacts. As we delve into the details of Palsgraf versus Long Island Railroad Company, we'll uncover why it remains a cornerstone of tort law nearly a century later. On a seemingly ordinary day in 1924, Helen Palsgraf stood on a crowded train platform. She was waiting for her train to Rockaway Beach, unaware that her life was about to change forever. As a train pulled away, two men ran to catch it. One man, carrying a package, struggled to board the moving train. Two railroad guards reached out to help him. In the commotion, the man's package fell to the tracks, igniting fireworks inside. The explosion knocked over a large scale, which landed on Mrs. Palsgraf, causing serious injuries. This seemingly minor incident set off a chain of events with life-altering consequences for Mrs. Palsgraf. Could the railroad guards be held responsible for the unexpected explosion and Mrs. Palsgraf's injuries? Mrs. Palsgraf, seeking compensation for her injuries, sued the Long Island Railroad. Her lawyers argued that the railroad, through its employees, acted negligently. They claimed the guards' actions in helping the man board the moving train were careless and set in motion the chain of events that led to Mrs. Palsgraf's injuries. The railroad countered that its employees were not at fault. The central issue was whether the railroad could be held liable for Mrs. Palsgraf's injuries, even though they were an unforeseen consequence of the guards' actions. This question hinged on the legal concept of foreseeability. Foreseeability asks whether a reasonable person could have anticipated the harm that would result from their actions. The case ultimately reached the highest court in New York, the Court of Appeals. The court's decision, authored by Chief Judge Benjamin Cardozo, would become one of the most significant rulings in the history of tort law. Judge Cardozo, in his now famous opinion, ruled in favor of the railroad. He argued that the railroad could not be held liable for Mrs. Palsgraf's injuries, because the harm to her was not a foreseeable consequence of the guards' actions. Cardozo emphasized the importance of proximate cause in negligence cases. He stated that liability for negligence should not extend beyond the scope of foreseeable risk. Cardozo reasoned that the guards, by helping a man board a moving train, were not creating a foreseeable risk of harm to Mrs. Palsgraf, who was standing far down the platform. The dropped package, the explosion, and the falling scale were all unforeseen and unforeseeable consequences of their actions. Cardozo's decision established a critical principle in negligence law, the foreseeability principle. This principle states that a defendant is only liable for negligent acts if a reasonable person could have foreseen the harm that would result. While Cardozo's opinion formed the majority view, not all the judges agreed. Judge William S. Andrews penned a powerful dissent, arguing for a broader interpretation of duty and liability. Andrews believed that individuals owe a duty of care to everyone, not just those within a foreseeable zone of danger. He argued that if a person acts negligently and causes harm, they should be held liable, regardless of whether the specific harm was foreseeable. Andrews felt that the railroad, through its employees, owed a duty of care to all individuals on the platform, including Mrs. Palsgraf. He argued that the guards' actions in assisting the passenger were negligent because they created a risk of harm to anyone on the platform. The fact that the harm materialized in an unexpected way, Andrews argued, should not absolve the railroad of responsibility. Andrews' dissent, though ultimately unsuccessful, offered a contrasting perspective on negligence and liability. While Cardozo's view ultimately prevailed, Andrews' dissent continues to spark debate about the scope of liability and the role of foreseeability in negligence law. The Palsgraf case, with its contrasting opinions and enduring legal principles, continues to resonate in courtrooms and classrooms today. Cardozo's emphasis on proximate cause and the foreseeability principle has shaped the landscape of negligence law, influencing countless cases and legal decisions. The case serves as a touchstone for understanding the limits of liability and the importance of reasonable foreseeability in determining fault. Palsgraf's legacy extends far beyond its specific facts. It has helped shape broader legal principles that govern our interactions with each other and with businesses. The case highlights the importance of considering the potential consequences of our actions and taking reasonable steps to prevent harm to others. Palsgraf vs. Long Island Railroad Commerce remains a cornerstone of legal education, providing a rich case study for exploring fundamental principles of tort law and the evolution of legal thought. The principles established in Palsgraf are not confined to train platforms and falling scales. They extend to the digital age, shaping how courts address liability in cases involving software glitches, data breaches, and other technology-related harms. Consider a hypothetical case involving a software glitch in a self-driving car. Imagine a self-driving car, operating on software developed by a tech company, malfunctions due to a coding error. The malfunction causes the car to veer off the road, injuring a pedestrian. The injured pedestrian sues the tech company, alleging negligence in the design and testing of the software. The principles of Palsgraf would come into play as the court grapples with the question of foreseeability. The Palsgraf case, though decided nearly a century ago, continues to serve as a powerful reminder that legal principles must adapt to new challenges while upholding fundamental values of fairness and accountability. If you found this breakdown of Palsgraf and its modern implications interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on key legal cases that shape our world. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.